Good morning. So today we're going to go over the starting of sketching, and so the basics of why we sketch and some basic principles of that. So why do we sketch? Kind of these are the three ideas. Is one, to build a concept. If you're trying to design something and you need to get it out from your head, sketching is a good way to do it. You can try out different ideas. We've been using pencil for a while, even if you're not used to sketching, and sketches don't have to be perfectly artistic in order to be useful. Another use is as-built. So something's already made and you need to measure it. You're going to do a sketch. You're going to draw it out. You're going to add the dimensions of how big it actually is, whether it's something mechanical or architecture or whatever. That's the way. And mainly kind of both of those is to convey an idea. You just need to get something from your head to someone else so they can see it. So here's an example of an as-built drawing. In the welding class, they see this all the time because they brought one of these to the school, and you'll see, and you should recognize this from here. It should look familiar. It's the same thing. It's that yard dolly. They brought one in. They wanted us to draw it up and be able to make more of them as a project for the welding students. So I went over, sketched it out really rough, just enough that I can take all the measurements I needed. And I had some other pages of measurements also, but this was just one to put on here. And just let me go back to the computer to create that full set of drawings that you see here. Okay, so as-builts. There's two different kinds of sketches. Also, there's rough sketches, just for coming up with the ideas or exploring things, or like you just saw on the as-built. And then there's refined sketches that are used more to explain how something works, and to persuade people to invest in the thing. So if we go over and look at So you can see here more the 3D sketch renderings and things that an industrial designer would do. We have a person in our class this is kind of his specialty, trying to come up with a really finished, polished sketch to convince people to make what they want and things. So that's kind of that refined sketch. It's no longer in the rough category. Rough sketches are ones you use for yourself and you don't show other people. Refined sketches are ones you're going to show other people for some kind of reason. So getting down to the actual techniques, it's all in how you move. So sometimes you want really short techniques like this. You want really small sketches. In that case, it'd be better to use my sketch tablet out. And so you can kind of see what I'm working with down here. If I get out the pen and I want to make small curves, I can use just my fingers to make smaller curves. I want to make it a little bigger. Now I can use my wrist to make bigger curves. Or even bigger curves, I can use my elbow to turn. And even straighter lines, I can use my shoulder. So if I move my arm, go to one of these scenes where you can see everything I'm doing. So if I want to do a straighter line, I can move my whole shoulder. And now I'm making a straighter line. I'm kind of trying to watch the cameras and this as I'm going, so it's kind of a mess. But you get the idea. So depending on where you go, so fingers make really small curves, wrists make a little bit larger curves, elbow makes even larger, and then your shoulder makes really large curves or more straighter lines. So depending on how you want to do it, use that different part of your body. Also, there's different ideas on strokes. So some people say, you want to sketch from there to there. You start here and you do a bunch of little strokes. This is kind of weird for me because I don't actually have that dot on my sketch pad. I'm just trying to follow it on the screen. But some people say do that. That works for some people, doesn't work for me. So even trying to do that here, I like long strokes. And so I prefer go here and just kind of go. And I didn't quite make it there because, again, I'm drawing on a blank pad. I'm not drawing on something that actually has dots on it. So I'm trying to kind of do that. But it's kind of like driving. You look where you're going to go and you draw the line. It's a lot easier to do that for me than doing a bunch of little things. It's kind of like, again, driving. If you're driving around a curve, if you're constantly adjusting it, you're all over the place. If you look at towards the end of the curve and you just kind of go to get there, it's a lot smoother. So I like long strokes, but if you can do short strokes and make it look good, go for it. But also for me, long strokes seem to go faster than doing a bunch of short strokes. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Find what works for you. If you have any insight, put in the video. Let me know what works for you, what doesn't work for you. All right, so the first exercise I want you guys to do is this. The rectangle here is a regular 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, but you could also do it in your sketchbook if you have that already. And so I want you to draw 10 lines. So these first 10, 8 inches long, about a 1/4 inch apart. You just estimate it. You don't need to get a ruler out and measure it. Kind of estimate, okay, what's a 1/4 inch? If you're not sure what a 1/4 inch is, maybe look at a ruler just to kind of see. It's good to start estimate, to estimate what's a 1/4, what's a 1/2, stuff like that. And then these lines down here, 20 lines. So 2 columns of 10, spaced 1/2 inch apart, about 3 inches long. Okay, so pause, do this little sketching exercise. After you finish the exercise, resume playing. So hopefully you finished this one. How close did you come? It's okay if you're not perfect. The idea is to get better as you go. Now we're going to take and we're going to draw these lines. So each of these lines is 2 inches. And so overall it's 4 inches. But every 45 degrees here, so it means you draw like a plus line and then straight up the middle there. Middle, middle, middle. So you bisect those. So now each of these angles is the same. And the lengths of all the lines are the same. This one, it's at 30 degrees. So instead of going up the middle of the 90 degree, you're doing it in thirds. So you still want to end up with all these being equal angles and equal length. This one down here, half of it is at 30 degrees, half is at 45 degrees. So go pause, do this one. Once you're finished, resume playing. All right, so circles are a different thing. Don't just try and draw a circle. Usually if you try and draw just an end up circle, you end up with something kind of funky. So break it out. So set up your corners. So set dots for the corners of it. Draw in a box, mark the middle points, and then that gives you a quadrant, right, to do at a time. So usually people are good going one direction or the other. So I usually like to, I'll start here, kind of go out straight and then make the turn going going down. Again, I'm on a little sketch pad, I can't see it. But go over here, go over, and then turn going up, and then go straight. And then from here, I don't keep going this way. I'll go from here down to here. Kind of like that. And then that'll finish off the circle. You can see these two are my harder sides when I did it by paper. And so that and that one are pretty smooth, but these ones are a little bit rougher. That's fine. It's still better than if I just tried to go in and draw it all the way around at once. Oops. These should have been in the other order. Okay. So for that, I want you to start on that last section exercise is start with a 2-inch diameter circle on the outside, and then come in a 1/4 inch and draw a concentric circle. Come in another 1/4 inch, draw another concentric circle, another 1/4 inch, and draw another concentric circle for here. So the first one, do a box around, so you can get that first one done. But then after you get that, you can either do another box, or you can just try and keep that spacing the same as you go. Try different approaches, see what works for you. And the last exercise is start with a 1-inch radius here. So from this corner, come over 1 inch, up 1 inch, put that in, and then as you get bigger, as you go out, keep making it larger. So you might need to change your technique. So here, maybe you're using your fingers and your wrist, and then you get out here, much more going into your wrist, maybe your elbow. Okay. So work on this sketching exercise. And that's it for today. Have a good day. See you later.